What's going on, you guys? So, Apple just unveiled their latest iPhones for this year, the iPhone XS. And it comes in two different models, as you can see. That you have the top one, which the screen is going to be about 5.8 inches. And the one on the bottom, which is the XS Max, that one's going to be the largest iPhone display screen ever. It's going to come in at a whopping 6.5 inches. So a couple years ago, we used to call these kind of screens phablets. 6.5 is kind of like inching its way toward a full tablet screen. And so I wanted to make a video discussing and kind of seeing how this affects strategy gaming on a mobile device. So right away, it's a Super Retina display. It's an OLED display. Now, if you guys are not familiar with OLED, OLED is a new type of technology. It's supposed to be superior to LCD, which is what pretty much every iPhone except the iPhone 10 that came out last year has come in. OLEDs are going to kind of surpass these pros in two kind of categories. The first one, OLEDs are really great at saving battery life. And the reason they're great at saving battery life is because they don't fill in the color black. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, if you have an iPhone 7 Plus and if you have an iPhone 10, and we're looking at like Star Wars, right? And obviously a lot of Star Wars takes place in space, right? So the cool thing about OLEDs is LCD has to turn on all the pixels to represent, the whole screen. Like if, for example, a Star Destroyer is shooting out a, Corellian ship, right? It has to paint all the stars, all the the black, all of the space, the entire screen. It has to activate every single pixel and make it black or green or whatever the pixel is supposed to represent. OLEDs don't do that. OLEDs just basically paint only the pixels that need color. So anything that's black on the screen, it doesn't have to turn on that pixel. So you save battery life by doing that, which is awesome. And it also comes in HDR. If you're not familiar with that, that's high dynamic range. So the reds are going to be redder, the blues are going to be bluer. It's just going to look really great. So as you can see here, the one iPhone XS on the right is a 5.8-inch display, and the one on the left is the XS Max at 6.5 inches. Now, I want to kind of put them side by side. So as you can see here, you have the XS, you have the XS Max on the left, and in the middle you have the 8 Plus, which also, if you have a 7 Plus, they're the same exact dimensions. So as you can see how much more screen you get, right? The top and the bottom, right? Obviously the home button is gone, and the top where the camera is pretty much minimized to that little notch on the top. So what I was thinking is like, all right, how much better is this going to make strategy gaming? Because you're going from a 5.5-inch display, which is what the 7 Plus, 8 Plus, and if you have the 6S Plus or 6 Plus, those are all 5.5 inches. Let's see what that looks like on a gaming side for strategy gaming. Now, I took two of the games that I play on my iPhone. So the first one, I put Heroes in Normandy. So I have the 7 Plus, and I put it next to the iPhone 10s Max. I'm gonna have to get used to that name. So okay, you can see how much more of the screen you can see on the 7 Plus. Now, obviously, these are not like, I don't have a 10s Max, and I didn't actually take the screenshot. I just took a screenshot and I superimposed them on both these phones. So as you can see here, you get to see a lot more on the 10s Max. You can see on the left-hand side, you can see a couple more tiles, almost two tiles more than on the 7 Plus. And on the 10s Max, you could even see where you're going to put in cards, like that little user interface on the right where it's supposed to be like cards or tiles. On the 7 Plus, you don't even see that at all. So you get a lot more. You can see a lot more of the map and a lot more of the game, essentially. So the other game that I wanted to showcase is Rome Total War, which just came out. So here you can, the top and bottoms are pretty much the same because, obviously, they didn't increase that. But on the 10s Max, you can see more of the left and of the right. So you can get more of the catapult, right? You can see the entire catapult on the right-hand side. I think it's a catapult. And on the 7 Plus, you do not. It's actually cut off a little bit. On this 10s Max, you could even see the full unit on the top left, right? You can see the entire unit while it's cut off on the 7 Plus. And the other part of Rome Total War, which is kind of important, is the strategic view, right? So on the 10s Max, a couple things that you can spot right away is you can see pretty much that entire city and the road leading out of it to the right, to the east, and you could even see that ambassador next to that city, where on the 7 Plus you can't. It's kind of cut off there. And you can see more of the sea on the left-hand side. Basically, what this comes out to be is you get more screen real estate to play your favorite games. And it comes in extremely handy because it's less swiping, especially on a mobile device. If you're playing games of this, huge maps, the less swiping, the better, right? And other cool things you'll get is better colors on these games, right? Your batteries should last longer because if, obviously, like we talked about before, the blacks don't have to be filled in. The OLED screens don't have to, they could just leave those pixels shut off and instead of turning them on, which will save battery life. So honestly, if you guys are kind of wondering, should I get the 10s Max? If you're a strategy gamer and you play these games on your phone, it'll come in extremely handy. And the cool thing is, because it has a new processor, it comes with the A12 processor versus the 7 Plus that has the A10 processor, you'll get a little bit more faster loading times you'll get out of that. The other cool thing is the better GPU. Every iPhone gets better GPU. And if you guys are not familiar with GPU is basically the graphics chip, the graphics unit that's on the phone. It'll be able to kind of peak further than what it was before. So the 10s Max versus the 7 Plus, you'll definitely get better graphics. So that's another thing that you want to consider. So anyway, guys, I'm going to have to start saving up money for this for this awesome phone. And it's going to take me a while, but honestly, to get, this extra screen real estate is going to come in handy. Honestly, when I'm looking at them side by side, I'm like, wow, I'm looking at it right now and I'm just like, it's going to change the way I'm going to play these games. Because, I'm looking at the 7 Plus now, it feels so constrained, Before, years ago when you had a smaller iPhone, it's like the 7 Plus was like, wow, this is a huge display. Not anymore. Now you're looking at the 10s Max and you're like, yeah, I can't go back. Anyway, guys, that does it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. See you then.